What's going on, people? Hey, let's talk the actual factual today, man. Young drivers definitely need to know this, but old drivers, y'all need to know this too. And let's get inside the numbers of the trucking industry. All right, y'all got to bear with me because I wrote all this stuff down on a sheet of paper because I couldn't read my phone and record at the same time. But and I got chicken scratch handwriting, so let's work through this together. All right. So I'm reading a report about how income for independent drivers, and they didn't talk about company drivers. They just talked about independent drivers and lease to own drivers. All right, a lease driver and an independent driver, in my mind, is lease driver is leased onto a company. An independent driver has his own truck, his own authority, and he's doing his own thing. So independent driver is really his own boss. He calls all his own shots. A lease driver, you kind of like a CEO. You got your stuff going, but somebody can override what you got going on if they really want to. Like somebody can terminate your contract. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't do what the company tell you to do, they can say, get out of here. So that's the difference between a lease driver and an independent. Independent, you independent. Nobody can fire you. You can mess up some relationships with brokers and companies, but really you're your own boss. You just got to find another relationship and deal with those people. But all right, let's get to the numbers. They say in 2015 drivers made more. Numbers dropped in 2016 from 2015 drivers supposed to made 63,000 lease drivers, and independent made 61. This is bring home now. It's supposed to be bring home. This is not gross. All right. And they're saying 2016 drivers, cause taxes and stuff going in now. So they're saying lease drivers made 60,000. So that's 3,000 less. And they're saying independent guys, that means it's only like a $500 difference. So not a major drop off. But they said we got more miles last year. And see, this is the thing young guys got to understand, and older guys that are starting to get into have your own truck. You don't want to be Superman and try to run as many miles as you can. You want to make as much money per mile as you can. Like, I'd rather run short and make $1.50, $1.70 a mile, $2 a mile on freight like that, than to run long freight and only getting like $1.29, $1.10 a mile. Like, you don't want to run yourself and run your truck in the dirt to say, oh, I grossed out at $5,000 this week, because you're gonna wear your back out. Young guys, y'all understand that you're messing up your back, your knees, your wrists, all this, your arm in the window, the sun beating it up all day. Like, all this is affecting your body long term after trucking. So you want to try to drive as less miles as possible, unless you're trying to get home, take some cheap freight or whatever, or if you're trying to get away from the house and you got to take some cheap freight. But for the most part, once you get out here, you don't want to touch cheap freight. And two things what happens when you don't touch cheap freight, the shippers start to say, this freight is not moving. If it's not moving, we got to raise the price on it. So if they raise the price on theirs, the other company gonna say, hey, they raised their price, we got to raise our price. So it makes everybody raise the price when you stop hauling cheap freight. Because if it's sitting on the dock, they understand if we don't move this freight, we don't get paid off of it. So we got to do what we got to do to get paid. That's just math on that right there. All right, so another thing you guys got to understand, gross and net. Gross, independent drivers gross 140,000. That's gross. But they brought home 60,000. Do you see that? So you guys with kids, if you want to sit here and brag and talk about this, and you let your girl get hold of that gross, and she take that to the child support office, you're gonna be in a world of trouble. Better make sure you have your numbers right, so you showing where you only bringing home 60,000, so you paying a child support payment that you can afford. I don't have kids, but I know people with kids, and I know the issues they go through with this. So that's why I always throw it out, because I know a lot of guys go through these issues. So you go around, like I talk to some guys, And they always want to talk about how much they gross. I gross this. I gross. You can gross whatever you want to gross. What you brought home? What did you net? That's what I want to know about. What did you net? Because if you gross $1 million, but you only netted 60, that don't mean nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So worry about your net more so than worrying about your gross. And how you worry about your net, you keep the maintenance down, you keep your truck note down, you keep your mileage rate high. You know, you cut out all your deadhead miles. You try to deadhead as less as possible. Like, try to figure out how can I be as most sufficient as I can while I'm out here operating my truck. All right, another thing I found out, reefer drivers took the biggest hit last year. And I never really want to do reefer for two reasons, because they spend a lot of time getting loaded and unloaded at the warehouses, grocery stores, all those lumper fees, and you got to put fuel. On top of fuel in your truck, you got to put fuel inside the reefer unit. You got to make sure the reefer unit don't run out of fuel. And you got to make sure you keep the right temperature, because you can lose a load. You can burn like some kind of crops that are real sensitive to the cold, or if it's too hot, ice cream, all this kind of stuff. You got to keep the trucks like so cold for ice cream. And I don't care for all of that, man. That's a lot of work. And guess what? Reefers, they say reefers, they only made averaged out around 52 bring home. Now that seems kind of low to me, but reefers are more seasonal, so it's got a lot of stuff going on with this. And they got more deductions because they put more fuel in the truck because they got to fill the reefer up. But they said they brought home 52, and this is about the taxes. This is all about the tax returns they're getting in. Vans brought home 60, and they're saying flatbeds brought home between 64 and 70. So flatbeds out there getting it. You understand me? A lot of people try to get me to get in the flatbed, but I heard flatbed had a lot of deadhead miles. But you got to also look at flatheads. They don't have flatbeds. They don't have that trailer for all that wind resistance either. Like, it's, you know what I'm saying? Once the wind go over the cab, it's kind of straight back. So they should get better fuel mileage. I was talking to a guy about that. He told me he had a Peak, and he was getting great fuel mileage. And I was like, what the hell? But when I found out he had a flatbed, I'm like, okay, I'm looking at the wind resistant. Some of his loads might be lighter, and he do more deadhead. So if you do more deadhead, you're gonna have a higher fuel percentage, because most of the time you drive with no freight. So that's gonna help your mile per average. But so flatbeds were the big winner last year. Vans came in second. Reefer came in last. Well, I don't know about the tanker guys and the container guys. They didn't really talk about them on here. But I know container guys. From what I know, they don't do great because they trying to be home every day. Anytime you trying to be home every day, most time you gonna get fucked, because they know they going at that weakness that you have. That weakness of being home, so you'll take less money to be home. That compromise. So yeah, man. Get your money up. Understand the difference between gross and net, and stop taking cheap freight, because you hurt everybody when you take cheap freight. Only take cheap freight when you're trying to get home, or if you're trying to get to an area where they got good freight. Like, don't just run for $1.15 a mile, $1.20, $1.30 a mile. If you're doing less than $1.30 on average for the week, you losing. I'm gonna just say that. So understand that if you're with a company that you ain't getting paid like that, man, you need to get away from them so they can close their doors, so other companies that's paying right can open their doors to more drivers, and more people can see the money they're trying to make, or they need to make to have a decent life. But yeah, man, it's your man TPZ though. I'm out of here. I know I've kind of been all over the place, but I want to give y'all some numbers that y'all can actually think about and use. All right, I'm out.